seen this, Scotty. You've seen this. It's all these usual suspects that turn up here, right? Always the same faces in here, man.
Yes. The dedicated cult of Kev.
Oh no, we can't call it the cult of anything. Oh hell no. We are gathered here today in the Church of Woo. Oh yes, and have we got some woo for you? Oh wow. No cults here though, no echo chambers, just madness. It's like the safe space on steroids. It's the Sunday sesh, the woo-woo. Sunday sesh, there's a blast from the past. That's what we used to call drinking on a Sunday in Scotland. Not used to, there's probably still some people do, Scott. So this is like the Sunday sesh full of woo-woo.
Nice.
Indeed, my friend. Here we are again, Scotty boy. Only the two of us tonight. Only the two of us, man. The gruesome twosome. And we always seem to find lots to get into, so who knows where we might end up by the end of this one, dude.
It's always an adventure, my friend. It is always an adventure, and where we end up, who knows? There are many paths that we could go down, and it's just a matter of finding out which one we choose to take, my friend.
First path that lays in front of us, Scott, takes us into the woods. Would you come into the woods with a man that looked like me? Probably not. But if you dared to take a walk into the woods, some of the things that I could show you. Full of mystery, woo, creepiness, and I seen somebody saying, not too creepy tonight, not too scary. Can't honestly promise that. I can't. Just because of the way things are going, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, who knows? Who knows? It could get really creepy, it could get really scary, or it could get really silly, and it could get really absurd.
Or all of those.
Yeah, all at once, right? They could all be quantumly entangled.
That's the way we roll on here. But of course, a big thank you to everybody rolling in through the electronics turnstiles tonight. It's free to get in, obviously, free on the door. We had our VIP lounge stream earlier on where everyone could watch, but only the members could chat. And of course, we're back now. Everyone can chat. We're all welcome. We're all back to the way it should be. And yeah, it's been a great day. It really has. And so many new members, another 2 new members to the channel today. So we're just down to 23 now already, Scott. You see how it soon comes down, dude?
Yeah, you know, I remember last time and you were like, 25 new members, that's going to take forever. I remember you say that, you know, like, oh man, it's going to be a while before we get another new emoji. And then what was it? It just seemed like the blink of an eye, and the traffic cone had to be unveiled.
Well, somebody today came up with a good one, Scott. After last night's show, perhaps the hairy hands.
Oh,
we could have a steering wheel with the wee hairy hands on it. You never know. It's an idea. And of course, we've probably got a week or two to decide yet. Who knows what stories might come our way. I'm sure other randomness may take over from the hairy hands before now and then, or between now and then. But yeah, tonight, give you a little rundown on what we're going to get into here. The mysterious stairs. That's one of the first stops we'll be taking on Kev's mystery tour into the woods today. Don't worry. Everyone comes home from the woods okay. I promise you that. We're looking at the future. Geordie fired up the D-Wave. He says, we all come home safe, Kev. Go for it. Take them down into the woods. The mysterious staircase is where we're going to make our first stop on this fantastic stream that we've got planned for you here this Sunday. That's going to be interesting because we've talked about that before, Scott, and it could well be that we've had one of the best, not hypotheses, not theories, but we have an explanation for at least one set, for at least one. And, you know, we can get into that. And then from there, we're going to get caught up in something that they call the trap. There you go. That was sent in via the Discord server. We've got something going on there. We're also then on our way through the woods. There's going to be something really creepy. The Joker is going to jump out on us. We're going to get into some of that. So yeah, the Joker is lurking about in this forest of fun that I've got lined up for you today. And if that wasn't enough for you, how about we come across a mad cow as well? All will be revealed on our journey through the forest. You like it, Scott? You like it? You know where I'm going, man. You know it.
Yes.
But Scott, if it's okay with you, you can take your pick, Scott, right? I'll blow up the chat room and make it large here for you to see it. And you can, like, welcome some people in for 60 seconds. I forgot to pour my coffee before the show, dude. I'm an amateur.
Okay.
I'm an amateur. Look, so I'll blow this up a bit, right? And then
yes,
there you go.
I've never done this before, so forgive me, people.
Can you
I'll
see
try
it
to
okay?
shout out everybody that I possibly can here.
Can you see it okay, Scott?
Yeah, I can see it.
Big enough? No bother, dude. I'll be right back, folks. Give me 1 minute.
All right. We got Websmith, C2D2. Let's see. Stimulate. Chuck. 99 Red. Ben. What is up? Manirus. Maximus. Chris P. Armand. What's up? David Bell. Star Dreamer. Mermaid Moxie. I'm only going by what's scrolling up here. Queen Goddess, what is going on? Chuck. I believe I called Ben out. Michelle Miller, how is it going? Got the mods out here with the wrenches ready to rock and roll. A Logos Warrior. Mr. D Ball Money, what is up? ZX81V2, The Dude, Austin Thompson, Becky Anglin, Mr. Niter, Kingfish Kebab, Scowling Wolf, King Sweet, what is up, brother? John Nielsen, Artistic Creations. How is everyone doing today? Tinker Pollard, Edward, what is up? Mammoth. We've got a packed chat room. Wade the Canadian. Awesome to see everybody up in here, man.
Mr. Scotty.
I did my best. I tried to catch everyone that I saw flying through there.
Dude, you're a legend. You know me, dude. I could not have handled, like, even maybe, I don't know, half an hour or so without my coffee. It would have just been, nasty, Scott. You can't go down to the woods with Kev if you haven't. There might not have been people coming home, put it that way. You know what I'm saying?
What is up? Kristen popped in there, so I think I managed to get mostly everyone that I saw scroll through the thing. So
no, look at that, King Sweet. Look what King Sweet thinks of me. He thinks I was away making herbal companions. No, literally a cup of coffee. Yes, indeed.
Well, I mean, if you want to get technical, tea is an herb. So
well,
it's an herbal.
No herbal companions tonight, Scott. No herbal companions tonight. Nothing like that. No. We wouldn't be doing things like that. You know, just before I came on air there, absolutely devastated. The wee man, he's got the wrestling on in the background. Hopefully I won't get hit by WWE for that little corner of the screen you can see. I'll just sit like that all night. Right? Sasha Banks, my favourite. She got beat, Scott. Can you believe it? Gutted. Devastated.
I'm sure nothing about that was rigged or planned in advance in any way whatsoever.
It's as honest as politics is, right? You can trust everything you're seeing. No fixes.
No,
nothing scripted, Scott.
No.
Come on, man. Come on.
No. There's absolutely no scripting in wrestling whatsoever. I will say though, I mean, Sasha Banks is very appealing on the eyes. I don't blame you for
Snoop Dogg's cousin.
Oh, she's Snoop Dogg's cousin. I did not know that.
Yes, she's related to Snoop. Always a bonus when you've got Snoop in the family, man.
Yeah. Speaking of Snoop Dogg, he did a performance here in Kansas at the KU basketball game and caused quite a stir, quite a bit of controversy, a lot of complaints about it, I guess. And I'm kind of sitting here thinking, well, if you invite Snoop Dogg to do a performance and Snoop Dogg does Snoop Dogg stuff, are you really that surprised? Are you really going to complain about Snoop Dogg doing us?
It's like, we like our comedians, Scott, right? And I think I've sent you Frankie Boyle before. The guy with the massive ginger beard who, like...
Brilliant.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant Scottish comedian, I gotta say.
He's the master of the heckle, man. He's good. He really is good. Yeah. But, I went there with my best friend one night, Scott, went to see him live, as you do. It's like you say, you know what you're getting. It's going to be bad. If he picks on you, it's going to be grim. There's going to be really inappropriate jokes, but that's why you pay 30 shekel at the door, right? So he starts cracking jokes about, like, illness and stuff like that. And some girl, it was inevitable, wasn't it? She stands up and she starts complaining. This is disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. And he's like, who the F-bomb are you? You pay 30 quid to come in here for the privilege for me to abuse you. So if you don't like it...
Exactly. Like I said, it's the same with this whole thing that's going on with KU, because it was college basketball, and they have some kind of they were having some kind of a performance or something afterwards or whatever. And they had a bunch of performers and, they put Snoop Dogg on the very last, part of it, because they knew, I mean, obviously, but, he comes out there, he's got strippers on stripper poles and, he's
Snoop.
He's Snoop. He was doing a Snoop Dogg performance, and then, you had like mixed reviews from the crowd. Obviously people liked it. And then you had the other people that were like, this is appalling. How dare you? And then the college had to come out and apologize and all of this stuff. And I'm like, well, what did you expect? Did you expect Snoop Dogg to come out there with Martha Stewart and start cooking or something? I mean,
well, John Nelson in the chat room, no thank you. I should go one-on-one with Drew McIntyre for Scottish supremacy. Dude, he could use me as a weapon. What a man. If there's anything that like resembles a Nephilim on the planet right now, go and check out Drew McIntyre. In fact, Scott, wait till you see this individual. Damn, dude, this is like somebody that's fallen from like some kind of thought, like some, I don't know, Titan movie or something. Drew McIntyre. There he is. You see this thing. Ladies, put your tongues in when I pull these images up, please, eh? Look at the state of this dude, man. You don't mess with that. The Kev doesn't mess with Drew McIntyre. He's like 7'5". Like I say, if L.A. Marzulli bumped into him in a bar or down the woods, would be shouting Nephilim woods all day long. So talking of woods, will we start to get into it, Scott? Because it's these mystery stairways, man, they're back. Any excuse to talk about them, right, Scott? Because they're cool. We've touched on them for years now, right?
Yes, exactly. And it's interesting. I think there's a couple of explanations for these. It's not completely there's tons of woo with it, right? Because I believe there are a lot of cases of these that are truly unexplained. But I also think that there are some of these out there that can be explained, especially some of these pictures too. I don't think that every single set of stairs found in the woods.
Sorry, Scott, sorry. Chuck Bam Bam in the chat. You know, I always like to make fun of Lothar and his thing with the Masons. Well, to Chuck Bam Bam, everything is Dogman. And Drew McIntyre is half dog man. I love it. I love it. Maybe he's a dog man Mason. If Lothar's here, we've got the dog man Mason, right?
Yes.
Chuck,
yes.
I love you, dude. I love you. But Scott, I had to, sorry, because I just seen that and it just... Lucky I wasn't taking a mouthful of coffee, put it that way.
Yeah, no, that's hilarious. You know, maybe Drew McIntyre is half dog man.
yes, for the purposes of this stream.
Yes, for the purposes of this stream. So yeah, you know, I mean the stair thing. It's weird. I don't know. Which explanation do you want to get into first? Do you want to?
Well, we'll go to Jill, because today we were contacted by somebody in Discord, one of our members here. I'm proud to say one of our members. And it was funny how the conversation came about, Scott, right? Because she just randomly came in and says, you know, listen, I've got an explanation for the stairways in the forest, but only if you want it, all right? And she says it kind of debunks it. I think that's the language used. I can debunk it. And I was like, no, it's not debunking, remember, because we've never said we really know. We've never put a definitive claim on it. We haven't said this is what it is, right? So it's not debunking, and we're here to learn. So that's what it's all about. And I thought I was going to get something ridiculous, Jill. I've had many people telling me they can come and debunk this, right? For it to be absolutely... It could be something. But then the explanation you gave for one staircase in particular, like we're going to see here, is absolutely brilliant. And you know what? As opposed to killing our woo, Scott, I think it kind of just like increases it somewhat. And it's not the woo, but the interest factor. The history of it.
Exactly. And it just provides one explanation. And it really doesn't, Kev. It doesn't kill the woo at all, really.
No.
It just provides a potential explanation for some of these. So yeah, what did Jill enlighten us on, my friend?
Okay, ready for this, folks? I love it. She says, well, Kev Baker Show. She didn't say it like that. You know, but I'll put some effect into it. Well, Kev Baker Show, sit down and I'll tell you. I used to be an expert witness on disputed highways and rights of way. At that point, she had me gripped, Scott. I'm like, oh, this is sounding very logical. I can follow with this. Back in the days when people walked between places because they had no option. If there was a bank in the way, like bank ground, you know, hillock, whatever you want to call it, then the landowners would cut steps into it to make the going easier. Now, the most famous one is the Nuns' Causey, and that also means causeway, as we're going to find out in a moment, in Swaledale. And it's for the nuns to climb their churches from the priory. Now, we can go and see in a moment that this is exactly what the explanation for one of these stairways is. We're going to type in here, we'll find this particular stairway. So we'll go Swaledale Stairway. I think that should probably bring it up. Well, Woods. Hang on. Nuns. We'll put nuns, Scotty. There we go. This must be them here, right? I would say so, eh? Ramps Bridge, no? That them? Oh, now we're not going to be able to find the ones in question, but what we can do, Scott, what we can do is we can come here, okay? So it's Marrick Priory, that's what we'll search for. We'll go back one.
Ah, yes, and Lothar in the chat. He blames the Masons, my friend.
Love it. Love it.
Yes. Love it. You know. Come on, Kev.
Yeah, that's it. There we go. The nun steps, right? So, see again, not your typical, not the same as all the ones we were looking at, but still, Scott, it's an explanation for at least one set of random stairs, because I'm assuming now these are pretty much, there's nothing around them. And you can see at some point that they were obviously something, right? It was obviously an intentionally built thing. It's not like the Bosnian pyramid where they say that this is just some natural feature, you know? However, we'll go back and see what it says here. Because Marrick Priory was a Benedictine nunnery in Richmondshire, North Yorkshire, England. Ah, North Yorkshire, Harrogate, lovely place. Very, very, very expensive though. Established between 1140 and 1160. See, I wasn't in North Yorkshire back then. maybe Whistles was, by Roger de Ask. Now, the parish church of the Virgin Mary and St Andrew and 400 acres of local land also belonged to the priory, which thrived until the 16th century in spite of the depredations of marauding Scots.
Yeah, you pesky Scots, you marauding Scots.
You know, the worst of it is Yorkshire people are lovely too. They're like amongst the salt of the earth. They truly are. If you could cut England off at like London, I'd be quite happy. You know, leave London stand to itself, dude. It's a place unto its own. So it says on the 17th of November, 1540, the prioress Christabel Cowper and her 16 nuns were evicted as part of the dissolution of the monasteries, and the priories received a pension of the prioress, of 100 shillings, and the nuns varying amounts down to 20 shillings or £1 sterling. Now the site was then leased to the crown to Sir John Uvedale or Woodhull, who went on to purchase it in 1543 for a £364, sir. Now, he sold it in 1592 to Sir Timothy Hutton of Marsaik, who resold it in 1633 to the Blackburns of Blackburn Hall. The church continued to be used as a place of worship for the local people until 1948, after which it was used as a farm building. It's a Grade 2 listed building, and in 1970 the church was converted after some restoration into an outdoor education and residential centre for young people, providing outdoor activities such as rock climbing, abseiling, open canoeing, kayaking, caving. I tell you, that might be where I went caving one time. Oh, it was great, but it was terrifying. A bit like a Joker movie. Ropes course, zip wire, you're like, come on. Orienteering and team building for several thousand people a year. But this is where we get to the relevant part. And this is where we can explain one set of steps, one set. I'm not even going to multiple sets anymore. But it gives us an idea what some of them might be about. To the northeast of the priory, the Nuns' Steps, or Nuns' Causeway, leads through Steps Wood to the village Marrick. This flag-stoned path is thought to have been associated with the priory, perhaps connecting it to the Richmond Road or its lead mining interests. So there, Scotty boy, is the explanation for it. Listen, one set of stairs.
And those, I mean, it's a set of stairs, but it looks more like a path. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of on the fence about that a little bit.
See, this is why it doesn't kill the woo entirely, because
no, it doesn't.
But what it does do is, though, and if we were going Occam's razor and logical thinking, you know, possibly if we were to look back at historical records around any of these locations, Scott, especially particular ones like this, ones like that there, okay, or this here, you know, if we were to go back far enough in time, I think we might find there would be some architectural context that this would be set in. Wouldn't you say that's fair to say?
Yes, I think I think you can explain quite a few of these by the fact that at one point there was probably a building there that was made of wood, right? And of course the stairway's made of stone. And if the building was abandoned or whatever, you know, over time, it's going to collapse. You know, the wood's going to rot, and all that's going to be left is the stone stairway, right? So
Scotty Lopez, get ready, man. Yes, indeedy. We have don't. We just came across Homer Simpson in the woods as well, Scott. This isn't a creepy walk; it's a good walk. Star Dreamer, myself and Scott, we absolutely love you long time. And you know, they used to say in that famous movie, $5, we love you long time. Less than $5 on the Kev Baker Show, we love you long time. £2 in the UK, that's all. And yes, we are now 22 emojis away. Scott, this time next week, wanna bet we're getting a new emoji launched? I think so.
I think so.
Let's hit the 100, folks. That's what we're aiming for. That's the next massive landmark, 100. So, Scott, that's one way of looking at these stairs. But I wouldn't say that explains all of them, though.
No, I mean, because how would you explain the one right there where the stairway just ends at a tree? You know, another maybe explanation.
How about a trail camera, or at one point a tree house?
Maybe. Okay. I can see that.
Speculating. Yep.
Obviously, somebody built it. I mean, there's nails in the wood, and I mean, somebody went out there and created it. Do you think also some of these can? Do you think some of these could be explained by art projects?
Good call. Good call.
You know,
randomness. Yep.
Yeah, they just go out, make a stair, some stairs out in the middle of the woods for an art project or something like that. Take some photos of it.
And that's a bizarre one. It's a very bizarre one, right?
Yeah, that is pretty bizarre. I mean, look, that one's got a handrail on it. You know, I mean, obviously somebody went out there and took some time to put a handrail.
And it doesn't even look like there's much to fall. It's not like some cliff on the other side, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, some of these just could be, like you said, like embankments. You know, it's to help people get up the embankment. Maybe at one point there was a trail going through there or something like that. So I think there are some logical explanations for a lot of these.
There's Ken in the chat room, and sometimes it doesn't have to be logical. He just has it there because it's practical, somewhere to put it. You know? You've been renovating the house, maybe you've taken out a metal one, something like that. Where do we put it? Against the tree. You're out in the middle of nowhere. Who knows?
Yeah.
And of course, there could also be the other explanation, Scott, that it literally is the stairway where paranormal entities are able to either come into this world or leave. I'm thinking more along the lines of, I don't know, maybe the Sasquatch, or even Scott, the machine elves.
You're going to live in a tank and be tied into this virtual world. You'll be able to wire your head in and just get unlimited pleasure. It'll feel like 10 times the best orgasm for 3 days if you want straight. They're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. There's the owners of Truth Frequency Radio. They believe they're communicating with entities. They call them clockwork elves. I'm not going to get into what they're interfacing with.
And we know how the elves get here now.
They believe they're in contact with off-world groups. Chris Geo, Truth Frequency Radio, he takes it. You see the elves, little green hats. We're in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We're in trouble. The clockwork elves, all of it, I shouldn't even get into it.
Well, you should.
There's a reason they're all whacked out of their minds. They're taking DMT. And the point is that their whole science is way ahead. We don't even know what they've got. They're in power because they're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Geo took the DMT. Hitler
Classic, Scotty. Classic or what? Come on. Even Pineapple Kev likes it.
You think they're all a bunch of old men? They're in power because they were into this stuff 70 years ago. The DMT.
Possibly the best advert for Truth Frequency Radio ever, ladies and gentlemen. Remember to check out tfrlive.com.
Took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT.
So now we know how the elves get here, Scott, when you're not on that DMT.
Yes.
They take the stairway in the forest right after the Sasquatch paves the way. And of course, that there was the genius of Chris Geo who had put that together. And I think myself and Scott both agreed before this. And I hadn't realised, Scott, that's quite old now. But I thought to myself today, hang on, we've got lots of new people coming to the table. Maybe they haven't had the pleasure of the DMT remix. So please, folks, before I hand it over to Scott, I'll drop the link in the chat room. Remember to hit Chris and Cherie with a check out their channel, sub them, show them some love. And of course, like I say, probably the funniest and best ad I can think of for TFR. Brilliant.
It's a classic. I remember when they released that and I was like, oh man. Wow. Just wow. And it always cracks me up every time I see that brought back up. The DMT remix is just, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's
listening to some of Chris's latest tracks the other day. Oh my, oh my, oh my, ladies and gentlemen. Wait till you hear some of this stuff. But that's for another show altogether. And I'll keep these up to date if that's going to be coming out anytime soon, folks. But I thought, Scott, that would be a nice bit of light-hearted relief before we inevitably ventured further into the woods and got more into the creepiness, right?
One more thing I need to bring up about these stairs is, what if people were, they didn't just like pop out of nowhere, but what if people were building them and what were their intentions? You know what I mean? What if you had maybe a sort of occultish, occult group of people going out there and building these stairs for ritualistic purposes? You know what I mean?
Very symbolic, the path. Walk the pathway up. Yep. I get you, dude. So they say, hey, we're gonna go out here, we're gonna build a stairway and then use that, whenever we come out here and do these things. So you see that kind of a lot with a lot of these weird occult groups that like to go out and meet in the woods. They have their little area that they meet, and they'll build kind of their little ritual grounds or whatever. You just got to wonder, maybe some of these are also part of that as well. So I think that's another option that is on the table. Jill has offered over in Discord, if there's any more staircases, she'll actually happily research into them for us to see what comes of it. I think that's absolutely fantastic. And that's not just for me or Scott. I'm sure anyone over there on Discord, and if you want to join the Discord, you like how I led you to that one, it's kbsdiscord@protonmail.com. It's kbsdiscord@protonmail.com, and you can be part of some of the madness that goes on over there. And talking of what goes on over there, that takes us nicely, I think, to our next story. Now, hang on till I find it, Scott. I think I've lost it. Wait a minute. There we are. I found it, dude. I found it, yes.
I have something else, though, to tie in before we go to...
Oh, please do, sir. Please do.
You remember a while back I was talked about the haunted area near my location called Stull.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
The church, the remnants of it. We can kind of go ahead and classify that as maybe a stairway situation, because there's a basement, there's a stairway that leads down. That church was located in the middle of the woods, and that church is no longer there. They demolished it, but the stairway is still there, and it's not a stairway that goes up, but it's a stairway that goes down, and people who have taken that stairway down into the basement have lost massive amounts of time, or it seemed like they would go down there. Yeah, they would go down there, and it would only like they would be down there for like 10 minutes or something like that. But when they came back up, they said they felt like that they were down there for like 2 hours or something. You know, like there's these weird time gaps that occur whenever people go down there.
That makes me want to ask you this question, and it came up in the VIP lounge earlier, Scott, right? If you could experience any paranormal event activity, like Sasquatch, Chupacabras, Mothman, time slips, ghosts, UFOs, what would be your, like, what would be the one you choose, Scott? If you could have one, like, full-on blown encounter. It's a really cool question, I thought.
I would honestly say go to Stull. To me,
is it that bad?
To me, I think Stull is severely underrated as far as a paranormal location.
How do you spell it again, Scott?
Stull. Just type in like Stull haunting or Stull church.
There we go, the most haunted places in America, dude.
Yeah. CBS News, of all places, talking about
it. It says, what makes this cemetery a potential paranormal hotspot? Besides its deceased residents, legend has it the graveyard has a hidden stairway that descends into hell itself. There are also tales of witches being killed by the local townspeople. Dude. That
so
deserves
much.
some thunderbolts and lightning. Very, very frightening thing.
Yeah. They demolished the church quite a few years ago because they just didn't want people going in there. The whole community of Stull is really weird. Like the townspeople. It's a very bizarre place. It's very weird. I haven't personally went there, but I've had friends that have went there, and I've known a lot of people that have went there. There's a lot of indications, at least in my mind, that indicate that community, that at least quite a few of them, I think, are involved in some occult activity.
It would be the place to do it, Scott.
And they are not friendly.
Is this like one of these towns, like in a Stephen King novel, where you kind of drive in and they kind of give you the corner of the eye look, man, and windows shut and curtains pull? And
Yep, exactly. That's pretty much spot on.
I just got the creepters, man. Whoa, dude.
There was also kind of, I don't know if it's urban legend or if it's actually been verified, but they said that the Pope wouldn't fly over the airspace.
I remember
Stull.
you saying that. Now that suggests that there's something like very, very real about this, but not only that, Scott, almost as if there's something documented, like at the Vatican about this kind of location. Do you know what I mean?
It's supposedly one of the 7 gateways to hell located around the earth.
Oh, you leave that one hanging in the air there, dude. Come on, man.
That's just what I've heard, and that is the reason why the Pope won't fly over it, because of the energy or potential supernatural vortex that is located over that location.
Do we know the other 6 or anything, Scott? Any like?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the other 6 are.
I
don't know if it's like seven gateways or 9 gateways. I want to say
is it
7
not the
gateways.
9 gates? Is it 9 gate or 9 circles? I think it 7 8. No, it's 7, dude. You know how Google autocomplete knows these things, right?
Yes.
Well, here we go. Let me bring this over. Well, this took a really creepy turn pretty early, didn't it?
Hey, it did. You know, I mean, I always know that whenever I start bringing up Stull, it just leads into weirdness, dude. It always does.
So it says the 7 gates of hell is a modern urban legend regarding locations in York County, Pennsylvania. Now, 2 versions of the legend exist, one involving a burnt insane asylum and the other an eccentric doctor. Both agree that there are 7 gates in a wooded area of Hellam Township, Pennsylvania, and that anyone who... Well, but Scott, I'm sure there are various interpretations.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. So wait till we go back then. See if there's one there, Massachusetts. Well, we'll go for Stull. Yep, 7 gates of hell. Here we go.
The Wikipedia ought to give you some pretty good...
Stull Cemetery has gained an ominous reputation due to urban legends involving the big horned one, the occult, and a purported gateway to the fiery place. Oh my. The rumours about the cemetery were popularised by a November 1974 issue of the University Daily Kansan, the student newspaper of the University of Kansas, which claimed that the devil appeared in Stull twice a year. Once on Halloween, which is just around the corner, Scott, just saying, and once on the spring equinox. How interesting. How interesting that a lot of these ancient stone circles are all aligned to equinoxes and things like that. Just saying. People soon said that the cemetery was the location of one of the 7 gates to hell, and that the nearby evangelical Emmanuel Church ruin was possessed by the devil. It is also said that during a 1995 trip to Colorado, here we go, the dude with the silly shoes and white dress, the Pope himself, redirected his flight path of his private plane. Global warming, sir. Global warming. Come on, do your bit for the climate. To avoid flying over the unholy ground of Stull. However, most academics, historians, and local residents are in agreement that the legend has no basis in historical fact and was created and spread by students. Yeah, well, I'm not going to just dismiss everything because they told us so. In the years that followed, the publication of the University Daily Kansan article, it was popular activity for young folks, especially high school and college students from Lawrence, or here we go, Scotty, Topeka, to journey to the cemetery on Halloween or the equinox to, quote, see the devil. It goes on to say many would jump fences or otherwise sneak their way onto the property. Over the decades, as the number of people making excursions to the cemetery grew, the graveyard started to deteriorate. Now, this was exacerbated by the vandals. So to combat this, the sheriff office patrols around the area of the cemetery, especially on Halloween, and will arrest people for trespassing. Those caught inside after it is closed get a $1,000 fine and up to 6 months of playing a happy pick up the soap time in the county jail. Not good. Despite, in fact, I would rather be molested by the devil for a night in the cemetery, Scott. Despite its dubious origins, the legend of Stull Cemetery has been referenced numerous times in popular culture. The band Urge Overkill, I imagine Scott knows exactly who they are. They sound like your kind of cup of tea, dude. Released the Stull extended play in 1992, which features the church and a tombstone from the cemetery on the cover. Oh, there's the thunder and lightning going. Films whose plot is based on the legend include Nothing Left to Fear. So there's a heap of, like, people have really bought into this Scotty, and used it like in movies. Says here the cemetery is also the site of the final confrontation between Lucifer and Michael in Swan Song, the season 5 finale of the television series Supernatural. And I know Anne's watched a lot of Supernatural, her sisters. That's really popular nowadays, dude.
Wow, I didn't know that. So
in universe, Sam and Dean Winchester are from Lawrence. In a 2006 interview, Eric Epke, the creator of Supernatural, and his name's Kripke, Supernatural, and the showrunner during the first 5 seasons, revealed that he decided to have 2 brothers from Lawrence because of its closeness to Stull. That's pretty cool, eh?
It is pretty cool. And like I said, I still think it's kind of one of those overlooked places that like not a lot of people know about, but people who do know that it's like
creepy,
shock
dude. It just looks creepy. You know the only place I've seen gravestones like that? Aleister Crowley's garden.
Oh, yeah.
No shit. Yeah.
Now that's you could see in the background there the church. On that previous picture, that's all knocked down now. But that's when it was up at the time, okay? And it didn't have a roof on the top of it. The roof had collapsed in. And there's also reports that when it rains, even though there's no roof, it is completely dry within the area, as if there was a roof there. Dude, so much weirdness, so much craziness going on out there. And then on top of that, you've got like Satan worshipers and people into the occult going out into the woods over there.
Same gig as Crowley's gaff. It's like a hotspot, dude.
Feeding into it. And actually they say that the area out in the woods is even more, there's even more weirdness going on out there than at the church, if you can believe it. Because out in the woods is supposedly where they had hung hung a woman or something, and it's
the woods, Scott, and it's the woods. It doesn't need to be near anywhere haunted to be creepy, dude. But yeah. I would imagine, right, Scott, like if you're a country and western singer, you want to play in Nashville, right? The Grand Ole Opry. You know, if you're a metal singer, I dare say there's like a famous kind of place over there that they all play at some point. Over here, you've got like the Barrowlands. And if you're a footballer, you would want to play. If you're like into doing like dark rituals, Stull or Crowley's place or one of these supercharged locations. That's where you want to play your magic, right?
I'm thinking, I'm going to put Stull on the level of Boleskine House.
Well, from what I've read there, Scott, and you're one of the most honest, down-to-earth dudes I've ever spoke to. And when you tell your stories about Stull, not just this time, but I remember the last time we had Jacqueline Davio and Todd Shellett on the show. They were paranormal investigators, and they hadn't heard of Stull. And I remember you telling us about the church and things like that. And it's the way you tell it, because I can tell by looking at you, it puts you in that very serious frame of mind, right? This is like real deal, Kev boy. Real deal.
Yeah, man. And it's only like 15, 20 miles away from me. It's not that far of a drive.
Get the dream machine fired up, Scott. Bunch of cameras on it, park overnight.
And remember when I was kind of talking about the paranormal weirdness going on around here, I said, I don't even know what's gone on in this area in the past.
I don't think you become a gateway to hell or even like a candidate for it if there isn't like a long history of bad juju going on. Do you know what I'm saying? Or like something really epic at some point. Something monumental on the magical scale.
Yeah, I think some really, really, really crazy shit went on back in the day. I don't know, man. Stull is always one of those weird things that anytime it gets brought up, I'm like, oh.
Well, let's move from Stull, right? You said the forest is right beside it anyway. So let's venture back into the woods, okay? And on our way through the woods, we come across this thing called the Trap. And the Trap was provided to us by somebody called Tinker. I think I seen them in the chat room earlier on. And this takes us over to Reddit. And myself and Scott were saying, wow, you know, Reddit is full of some absolute gems if you're willing to take the time. And it does take time. Maybe you're lucky and you're hitting something early. But there's such an abundance of stuff over there. There truly is. In fact, so much so that that's what a few of the AIs, they're actually given like the text, all the web pages, all the threads from Reddit to learn from, because there's so many words and so much text on there. So when you do come across a good vein of woo though, Scott, it's amazing, right? Sometimes it's unparalleled. Maybe creepypasta is the only other place you'll go to find stuff like it, but the Trap. So I'll blow this up a bit, folks, so you can probably follow along and see it. It says, I read this story months ago and it still fascinates me to this day. I can't help but feel that some elements of this story, the portal, the uncomfortable feeling, the intelligence behind it, etc., may relate to some of the missing 411 cases. Okay, so for anyone out there who doesn't know what that is, that's the David Paulides kind of work. He's an ex-detective and he talks about all the missing people in the national forests. If you haven't checked that out, he has done so many interviews over the years. He's got a documentary on Amazon or Netflix. And there's also so many books as well. But on YouTube here, you can find him speaking on Coast to Coast so many times. Fascinating stuff. It says, while it seems far-fetched to speculate on such things, understand that whatever it is has to be supernatural by nature. It may break the very boundaries of what we call possible in our reality. So it says, this account is from Larry Kelm, whom I personally spoke with during a Bigfoot field researchers organization field trip in, was that Reduso? Come on, Scotty. New Mexico, I take it NM is it? Is that Reduso? RUID? Yeah. So in the
Rudoso.
Yeah, in the fall of 1980, I ran a small business as a construction contractor in Eugene, Oregon. Hey, now how synchronistic is that? Because I know why Eugene, Oregon jumps out at me straight away.
Yeah, I do too.
You remember that? It was our first ever caller, dude, on the Kev Baker show from Eugene, Oregon.
Oh, really? The reason it jumped out to me is because TFR is carried in Eugene, Oregon.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
So we've got... Right, we're liking this then already.
Yeah.
And I only read a bit of this, folks, because seemingly the replies and everything as well, it's another part of it. So during the slow times and in between jobs, I would don my backpack and hiking boots and disappear into the mountains for weeks at a time, enjoying peaceful solitude of long hikes. At that time, I was single and didn't answer to anyone, so I was free to do what I wanted when I wanted. On the trip in question, I decided to hike the old Molalla Indian Trail that followed the ridgetops from Saddle Blanket Mountain to Oak Ridge, one of the Native Americans' favorite summer camps and trading centers. It was a beautiful August day. 2 days into the hike, I expected to be gone about 2 weeks, when literally out of the blue, the most terrifying thing that ever happened to me in my life occurred. It would change my perspective of reality forever. I was walking along the trail, enjoying the strong breeze and bright sunshine, when in the middle of a step, something around me started to turn grey and blurry, or everything around me. The only way I can describe it was as if suddenly I was looking through someone else's prescription sunglasses. I finished the step and started another. Every inch I moved forward, the darkness increased, and the grey blurring turned into a jumble of shapes that made no sense. I then seemed to pass a barrier, and everything started to return back into focus when my foot reached the ground on the second step. Everything around me had changed. Day had turned into night, and there was no wind. All the Douglas fir and the pine trees had been replaced with jungle-like growth. The cool, thin mountain air was replaced with humid, thick air. There were no stars in the sky, but there was a diffused light that let me see everything clearly. However, I couldn't tell what the light source was. As often happens when the human body receives massive doses of adrenaline, the entire incident appeared like it was in slow motion, and even though I was only there for a second or two, I had time to observe my surroundings. The silence was broken by a continuous high-pitched keening sound, and I was nearly overwhelmed with a sense of fear and danger. My momentum caused me to take one more step before stopping in my tracks. It was at this point I heard a whispered, "Gotcha," right over my right shoulder. I couldn't tell if I heard it with my ears or inside my head. The word wasn't directed at me, but something said the word quietly to itself. I was so terrified that I actually felt my heart stop for a moment. That whispered word is what saved me. I opened my mouth and gasped in a huge gush of thick air and recoiled backward in the same footsteps I'd entered wherever I was. As I threw myself backward, I looked over my right shoulder. A dark-coloured, hairy right hand and arm was reaching for my throat over my shoulder. The hand had a pale ivory spade-shaped fingernails. The nails looked clean and almost had a manicured look to them. The thumb was placed lower, towards the wrist, on the hand than a human's is. Both hand and arm were thin and powerful looking, and both were covered, you guessed it, Scotty boy, in a thick, coarse, black hair. I got a good look at it because the thumbnail grazed my neck. It did not break the skin as I moved backwards. As I continued backwards, the hand clutched where my neck had been a split second before, and it seemed to fade off into the distance as I returned through the portal. I took 2 more steps backwards and everything reversed itself from what had just happened. The world around me became lighter. The firs and pines gradually came back into view, and the 3rd step, I was back in Saddle Blanket Mountain. I continued to move backwards in terror, and as I did, I observed where I'd just come from was a shimmering oval patch of air, about the size of a large door. The woods behind it looked like it was underwater. By the 5th step backwards, or backward step, the shimmering area seemed to just evaporate and everything was back to normal. By then, my lungs had nearly burst from the volume of air I had inhaled during the huge gasp I had just taken. My body felt like it was on fire from the adrenaline surge. I spun around and ran back down the trail as fast as my legs would carry me, and I didn't stop until I reached my truck. I was nearly 2 days getting to that place, and about 3 hours getting back. On my way home, I was absolutely horrified at the thought of what would happen if I were to drive my truck into something like that. It had been a trap, pure and simple. Whatever it was that tried to kill me somehow kept the portal hidden from me on the way in. I didn't actually see it until I was back out of it again. I had terrible nightmares for years, but still haven't come to grips with what happened. My fingers are trembling, and my hair is standing up on the nape of my neck as I write this. Oh, Scotty boy. That there is the trap. And not only just a trap, Scott, but laid by the hairy hand.
The hairy hand thing was just the cherry on the top of this whole thing. You know, being that we just happened to come, you know, that DJ just happened to, you know, inform us to look into the whole hairy hands of, was it Davon?
Devon, yep.
Yeah, Devon, and then we have this encounter over here in New Mexico of this guy just wandering into a portal, it seems like, and what tries to grab him? Some hairy hands. I mean, this is wild, man.
And Scott, this is one of those occasions that we'll never be able to confirm or deny or prove any or disprove. And for the sake of our like weekend streams, this is like perfect, because the conversations that you can have of this and the creep factor, dude, and the lightning at timely intervals as well. This is like, Art Bell, are you proud of us, dude? We're like trying to take your stuff on a step or two, man.
Let me take this to the next level, my friend.
Please do. Please do.
Let's go full woo with this. We discuss Sasquatch, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now.
And it's the Northeast, the Pacific Northeast, Sasquatch land.
Well, I mean, this was in what, New Mexico.
Well, this one was Eugene, was it not?
Oh, it was Eugene, Oregon. Yeah, Northwest. Yeah, Northwest. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, that is Sasquatch country. You know, actually, Sasquatch country is everywhere as far as I'm concerned.
But that's like, but that's renowned. It's renowned up there. I mean, Clyde Lewis and all them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Sasquatch Central, I guess you could say, the Sasquatch hotspot. But Sasquatch is a hairy creature, right? He's Sasquatch has got a little bit of hair growth on him, I guess you could say. And we like to discuss the possibility that Sasquatch could be interdimensional, right?
Well, big time, dude. Big time.
So, hairy hands, portals.
Now we know what they eat.
Ooh.
And it makes you wonder about the 411 stories as well, like the person who posted like that story, you know? That's like some weird woo right there, dude. And think about the Native Americans, right? You're up in the hills. What do they say about the hills, Scott? Natural stargates. That's where you find these things. The boundaries are obviously, there's something to do with all that rock, all that quartz, all that piezoelectricity just...
So what if it's not a trap? I'm not going to go for a whole trap situation.
What if he saved them? What if he saved them from something? What if he was about to fall down, like trip, or something was going to happen, and maybe he was trying to protect them?
I don't know. I don't know. What if he just happened to accidentally stumble upon one of these portals that Sasquatch pops out of? And he popped into Sasquatch's realm.
Jungle-like place, like almost tropical, humid. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it sounded like to me. Like it was.
It's got like an entirely different parallel reality, as your man Geordie would call it, because no stars, but it seems like a physical realm if there's like trees and vegetation and hairy hands, you know?
What if it's another planet? What if there's like a quantum portal that exists on another planet? Maybe not even a planet, right? Maybe another dimension or parallel reality, like you said, but obviously it's not a place that exists here on Earth, right? So I don't know. I just something told me I had to make a Sasquatch connection to this, because we're out in the woods. We're talking about portals. We're talking about hairy hands, and the first thing I'm like, well, hey, Sasquatch is a hairy dude, and we talk about him being we talk about the Sasquatch being interdimensional. So
when I seen Pacific Northwest, Eugene, Oregon, up that way, and then like you say, hairy hands come into it. being little woo meisters like me and Scotty are, it's like word association. Everything's ticking the box for our friend the Bigfoot, right? But I tell you, this is the kind of way that KBS and me and Scott roll. And of course, this is now thanks to the listeners. It used to be just me and Scott looking out for synchronicities and stories, but now we've got like hundreds of people, Scott, who listen to what we say one night. And then by the time we do the stream the next day, there's like stories that connect and keep us on that vibe, that frequency. And we get deeper than we ever got with just the links we would find.
I mean, and how coincidental, right? I mean, how synchronistic that,
Out of everything on Reddit.
That DJ Bison, pointed out the story yesterday that we should look into the hairy hands of Devin, and then we come across this story on Reddit, and then here we go, another kind of hairy hand situation pops up, and it's just so synchronistic.
At least it's not trying to pull people off the road like in Devon. And I think
no, it sounds like it's trying to pull them into another parallel reality, so
somewhere not here anyway. Somewhere not here. And Scott, I think now we really do have a strong candidate for the next emoji, eh? A big hairy hand. It's starting to look like the hairy hands. We don't get to choose the emoji. It would appear that not only do we not get to choose the emoji, and we said the listeners would always have their say, right? But the listeners are doing like a really cool way of like identifying the emojis are coming out of the stories, man.
It's good. I like this whole thing of letting the viewers and the listeners choose the next emoji, because it is the emojis are manifesting from the stories themselves and from the woo that is being generated and just a lot of the stuff we get into here. And
well, Scott, if my Google handler was already impressed by the fact that I let the listeners choose the emojis, wait till I tell her about how it all comes about. Come on, dude. I mean, soon, man, we're gonna. There's gonna be all these subscribers that want to check out just what magic we're weaving on here, Scotty, right? So we come down, and there's. I'm told, okay, we've got more on this, Scott. We've got more. Now, I see the time's getting close to our golden 90 minutes, but the timekeeper Joe isn't here tonight. So hopefully, if we go 5-10 minutes over, we won't have Joe to whip us like he usually does when we get off air. Yeah, I know he's bad to me and Scott. He really is bad to us. Only joking, Joe. And a big shout out to Joe. Ange is getting a nice good rest tonight. So Joe is letting her rest in peace. Not that way. And he's taking the night off as well. Everything's good to go. So then, visions get blurry. A similar story from Hunter, who told his story to David Paulides in Bailey, Colorado. Everything in front of him. All right, this must be this here. That'll be that video. Woman felt a hand grabbed her. So I heard this in an interview on YouTube. You liking this, Scott? Told you. Goldmine. The trap. We've been trapped by the trap. I think it was an interview Paulides done with Jeff Renz and Mia Pope. And Paulides mentioned Jeff in the show intro. A woman in France was walking along a river in the late 1950s. She felt as though a force came over her, and she felt and grabbed, she felt as though a force came over her, and she felt and grabbed her from behind. She could see a dark-colored hand grab her up her chest and drag her from behind into a thorny bush area. Now she started to scream. She heard a voice above her say something. At about that time, the weather started to change immediately to thunder and rain. The voice said something like, "Well, here you go," as if he was delivering her. Then all of a sudden, it stopped and she ran to a nearby farm. Now, the farmer said he could see a large hand that had grabbed her chest. There was a red mark there. They called the police. The police wrote a report about it. And I don't know this woman's name or the sources of the stories, but Paulides said somebody told him about it. And there's a link there. What do missing people who who are later found describe the experience during the time they were missing. Well, that's pretty cool. We'll open that up. That sounds like a pretty cool link, right? Jogger encounters entities and hears them talking of something rather jarring, so she runs. So there seems to be a theme of people hearing voices. I'm not saying they are hearing actual voices from something alive, but they are hearing them according to the stories. And Scott, think of that infrasound we were talking about. Remember the infrasound recently? How that can bring on like feelings and voices
and remember while we were discussing the infrasound and you were reading out some of the information on the infrasound, one of the key points about the infrasound was brought back to Sasquatch, remember, because that guy had the experience and he thought he was under some kind of infrasound attack by Bigfoot, by Sasquatch.
Yep. And we couldn't decide if it was that or he'd just smoked too much, because it had all the similarities of a whitey, as we call them over here in the UK anyway. What do you call it over there when you've had far too much, Scott?
You're just annihilated.
Yeah. No, yeah. That works. That works. That definitely ticks all the boxes, man. So even more harrowing than the traveling salesman's ordeal is the one that befell a jogger from an outlying district of the Puerto Rican city of Ponce in November 1979. Here we go. So, you know this is going to be a creepy one. Puerto Rico. I'm not saying it just seems to be like weird woo, supernatural woo. His story appeared in the first issue of the island's Evidentia OVNI, which gives his name as Hector Maldonado. He sounds like he should be playing for like Celtic or like Juventus or Real Madrid, dude. The number 9 for Celtic, Maldonado. Cool. Although this could be a pseudonym, and given the nature of the experience, completely understandable. So, it goes like this. According to Maldonado, he had gone for a morning jog on the salt flats near the Caribbean shore of Ponce. It was an average Saturday morning, and the routine he followed regularly. At one point, his run brought him near the mangrove swamp found in the area, where he happened upon a group of tall entities he described as standing between 5 and 6 feet tall, with bald heads and slanted eyes that issued a glow from within, rather than reflected by an external source. Now, their skin was a greyish blue, shark-like, and he was unsure if he was seeing skin or clothing. Now, one of the tall entities, which had been kneeling on the ground, intently focusing on some detail, rose to its full height and pointed at the bemused jogger. Well, Maldonado reportedly felt the non-human figure's voice in his head, and I heard him tell the others, as if mocking me, "See how that one runs." As the human had not broken stride throughout the sighting. What happened next was even stranger. The creature started to run, covering distances in seconds, as displaying its prowess before rejoining the other creatures. I could feel it in my mind when he said to them, "Let's take that one too." The others replied something along the lines of, "Leave him alone." Something like that. I felt panic when I heard that, and it made me run even faster, because the one who had mocked me sort of smiled, and I noticed he had big, pointed teeth, just like the shark. So Maldonado was spared from a possible abduction, but never resumed his recreational activities in that area, nor did he share his experience with others for many years. I didn't stop running until I got out of there. I was terrified. I said nothing to nobody, afraid that I wouldn't be believed. People would think I'd gone crazy, and I couldn't take that chance. No, sir. So that source is Inexplicata. So that's pretty cool, eh? What'd you make of that one? That's abduction juju. That's like... Are we going to take that one?
So are we talking about entities that may have been like a just kind of like scouting the area and investigating, you know, like because he said it was bent down and he was like looking at, maybe they were like looking at, I don't even know what you would consider it, like maybe a.
Well, didn't it say, well, we take that one too? As if they'd like already taken one?
Yeah, like almost like they're taking samples.
Let's take that one too. Yeah, exactly. Samples.
Like they're taking samples of different things from and just kind of like analyzing.
And see how we're not special to them? They've probably taken some animals from maybe the woods, since we're in the woods today. Maybe there's like some water like born creatures, and we're just one. Look how that one. Just another species, you know?
Yeah, he's like, look at how that one runs, you know, and then, you know, just like if we were observing like some primate species or some animal in the jungle and we saw it run, be like, oh, look how it runs, you know, and then they'd be like, well, do you want to take that one too? You know, to probably do more in-depth analysis, and they're like, nah, just leave that one alone.
Yeah,
you know,
springing into my mind is my show the other night with John Sumple about the alien abductions, the hybrid programs, stuff like that. Scott, I don't know, there's not more shark-like entities. Dang, dude, dang. So
it's better than chicken-like entities.
Just, you mean blue ones? Just saying, dude. Blue skin, not blue chicken. So we'll take another. We'll look at maybe two more of these, and then we'll start to think about wrapping up. But I've still got so many more things as well. But that's cool. They're not going anywhere. They can go in the folder. Don't you worry about that, folks. So this comes from the Chiricahu. What? Oh, Scott, how do you say this, dude? Chiricahua? Chiricahua National Forest claims to have been one of those who got away. Very interesting and chilling story. Okay, so Reddit. Wonder if this will take us right to it. Yep. A caller has a encounter with a dark demonic individual near near a national forest. Claims to have been one of those.
Chiricahua. Just say Chiricahua.
There we go. Scotty boy's got my back. You see? Teamwork, Scotty. Claims to have been one of those who got away. Very interesting and chilling story. So, oh, come on. Where is it? It's a YouTube one. I bet it's coast to coast. I bet we can't put video unavailable. Never mind. Let's see. Let's go back here. Other portal experiences. Skinwalker Ranch. It's YouTube. David Paulides. Oh, here we go. So, Hunt for the Skinwalker. Paulides mentions it in a talk he did at MUFON back in 2013. Honestly, I think it's one of the best books out there right now. I know both of these men. George is a really good friend, and Colm Kelleher actually helped write Bigfoot DNA Project. A lot of people don't know that, and he contributed in a big way. But what's important about this book, in my view, is that certain things that happened at that ranch mimic what happens, you ready, Scott? In the Bigfoot world. And I think that certain aspects of the aerial phenomena that occurred would hit a big cue with you and your knowledge as well. He was referring to the audience. Now, and the credibility of the people that were at the ranch documenting the incidents was impeccable. They hired a group of retired FBI agents to write up exactly what occurs. You talk about credible witnesses. Yeah, only once they're ex-FBI. There's nothing more credible than them in my mind. Now, if only one half of that book is factual, to me, it will change the paradigm of the average citizen. So if you... Oh, it didn't even tell us what it was, dude.
They were teasing the book.
Nah, it looks like a... Well, I think we've hit the... Oh, wait a minute. I love these reports of Fortean events from otherwise normal, sober people. Not sure about this one. It starts out really promising, and it's talking about the first one, obviously. Yeah, so that was pretty good. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, we'll have to dig into it more. And I think maybe on Thursday when we do the safe space or something.
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of dig up a really kind of in-depth thing on Stull. I want to do a presentation on Stull, like a proper presentation. And
that means I can do a really cool like thumbnail for you and everything, dude. I'm gonna have that like headstone with a skull on it. No, it's gonna be jamming, man.
Because we need like back history. Because I mean, I just sort of I didn't do it really justice, and if you really dig into the meat and bones of it and the back history and like the origins of it and all of that, I mean, it is just grade A. We're talking about creme de la creme. It's prime woo, my friend. And so I would like to put together just a good breakdown of the whole Stull situation, being that, I mean, we are potentially dealing with one of the 7 portals to hell. Potentially.
Only one. It's only like a portal to the bad place. Oh, that lightning, dude! I forget it's on.
And being that it's local and it's very close to my location, it's just something that I think we have to properly break down one day. And just, so I think Thursday I'm going to dig up a lot of stuff tonight and throughout the week and try to get a nice little presentation going.
I'm in total agreement with you. Total agreement. So we'll quickly do a couple of other stuff. That's the end of the scary stuff, folks. Don't panic. Well, no, it's not, because in the intro I said, as we venture further through the forest, Scott, and thank goodness we escaped that portal with the hairy hands. Whew, that was a close one, right? Well, now, as we're just getting towards the end of our walk, guess who we bump into? Dun, dun, dun. The Joker. Yes. So we get away from... It's a creepy character in the woods. I've placed them in the woods. Obviously, though, we're moving into some more 3D reality kind of programming and ridiculous outrage and reaction to what, in the end of the day, is still just a movie, folks. But not when you read headlines like this. It's way too terrifying. They're not talking about KBS, unfortunately. No, it's the Joker viewers around the world walk out of a movie theaters and urge cinemas to ban the ultra-violent film, saying it glamorizes gun crime and deals with mental health issues in a, Scott, ready now? Triggering way. Folks, if you do feel strongly enough about the Joker and everything that's been said about it, I have got some very little talked about advice. And that is that you do realize you don't have to go and watch this film in the first place, right?
It goes back to the thing from earlier I was saying, right, about the Snoop Dogg thing. If you're going to go to the movie to watch the Joker and you know it's a rated R film and you already know that it's going to be a disturbing film, then why are you going to sit there and complain about it?
Don't start bitching when the Joker turns up doing what the Joker does.
Exactly, man. And so, yeah, if you're going to be that triggered by it, don't watch it in the first place.
That's my thoughts on it, Scott. So it says some moviegoers bashed Joker on Twitter. It's the outrage culture. It's that outrage mob. And they're the ones, I keep on saying it to the point of you've been sick of me hearing it. And it's the fact that they get the platform, they get the retweets, they get the coverage, They're on everyone's feed, as opposed to this stream. It won't be promoted by any algorithm, I can assure you of that now that we've gone into this. It was very algo-friendly, although I suppose, Scott, we did trip it with the Wild Texan and the music we played halfway through, right?
Yeah, that might have triggered the algo.
Can't go talking about the bad guys from World War II and get away with it. Who do you think you are, Baker? You might have a handler. You don't have a get out of jail card, son. You know what I mean? So it says a fan claimed Joker was way too terrifying, considering what is going on in the world. Stop bloody reading the mainstream media and thinking everything's about to end then, and that all crazy white, or that all white men are crazy. You know, actually, funnily enough, we're not. Others are raving about the twisted R-rated portrayal of Batman's nemesis. The film is raking in cash, breaking the October opening day office record. And you see, this is the thing, right? This is the one thing that the outrage mob, they fail to grasp. And that is when they do start moaning and griping and bitching from the rooftops. You know all it does? It's like that Streisand effect, right? Even people who didn't want to see the Joker now want to see what all the fuss is about. So it's going to smash lots of records, Scott, right?
It's like reverse psychology, right? The more they tell people not to go and see it, and
like when you tell a kid you can't go and do that, don't touch that. The minute you turn your back,
everyone's gonna go, what's all this about? What's so bad about it? What makes this so taboo? Let me go see. You know,
it's true though. It's true. It says so far there have been no serious incidents despite fears of a shooting. It almost sounds like they're disappointed, folks. Almost sounds like they're disappointed. And I know there was an incident in Scott's state last night. I don't know how that's turned out, but I must admit, when I seen the headlines when I woke up this morning about a really bad thing that happened, and I think it was Kansas City, Scott. I think I don't want to get too far into it, but my first thought was, oh, well, there we go then. There's our first one.
No, it was just your
average gang fight. No.
Yeah, good old fashioned bar shooting. Just saying.
As you do. So it says here, one theater in California was trolled on 4chan. Oops, no, that was me saying that. It was shut down for a night after police received a threat. Now in Manhattan, a disruptive patron was escorted out after scaring moviegoers, and police across the nation have high security in place for Joker screenings. What the heck is wrong with people, folks? And Scott, ultra-violent gun crime. Think of like all the movies that are going to have to go down the memory hole. If this you can't just take one, right?
No, nobody's seen Rambo.
Precisely, dude.
No, nobody's seen Rambo. Nobody's seen the Terminator. Nobody's seen any action film from the 80s. I think if you want to talk about gun violence, that was the pinnacle of gun violence, or of gun violence in movies. You know, any generic 80s action film was over the top. Absolutely. Nobody's seen Die Hard.
What? Gone. Memory hole, Scott. Memory hole it. Memory hole it.
Oh, yeah. Memory hole it.
Yep.
Delete.
So yeah, I mean, I thought I'd bring this up, and we shouldn't be surprised. I know me and Scott aren't surprised, and I know you out there aren't surprised that we're seeing this, because in the end of the day, publications like the Mail and every other one out there has been helping to hype this situation ahead of time. And you know what? I'm actually, as horrible as it is to say, I'm actually surprised that they didn't get their wish. They didn't fulfill the prophecy that they were helping to self-fulfill, Scott.
Like you said, it almost sounds like they're disappointed that something didn't happen.
Exactly, that's what it comes across as.
They're like, wow, we pushed all this. We pushed the FBI report. We tried our damnedest to trigger somebody into doing something, and damn it, nothing happened. Son of a,
son of a gun. But
son of a gun.
Wait, the ridiculousness doesn't end there. And this is more of a funny kind of side note. But again, it's in the world of like comic heroes and,
Oh, and wait, but before you go there, also on the ultra violent situation,
nobody. I feel triggered. Oh no!
Nobody's seen any 80s horror film. Nobody's seen any sort of slasher film. In the golden era of horror movies and all of that. What about House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects by Rob Zombie? You want to talk about ultra violent? Have you seen The Devil's Rejects?
I haven't seen that one, but I like Rob Zombie, dude.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I didn't see all of the hubbub and fuss about ultra violence when it came to that, but God forbid the Joker decide he's going to do a few Joker things. And
that pesky Joker. But check this out. Here we go. Let's go to the internet outrage mob, shall we? I walked out of this movie, The Joker. Ban this movie. It's a psychological approach on the mind. I was rooting for him until shit got real. Would have walked out of The Joker after an hour if the missus would have let me. Don't do it, folks. Hashtag don't do it if the missus had let me. You absolute soy-infused individual. Come here, you, till I slap the man back into you.
All of these people are triggered about a movie that represents the descent of this guy's, this descent into madness, right? And that it's triggered by, the society, right? Society caused him to snap and, all this. Nobody's seen the movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas. You remember that movie?
Yeah, I do remember that one.
Wasn't that the same, basically almost the same premise?
Yeah.
He was a guy who just snapped because of what was going on in society around him.
Isn't this like a common theme in a lot of movies?
Yeah, this is nothing new. This is not a new approach.
It's not like the Blair Witch Project, something we haven't seen before, some new genre of movie that's like, triggering everyone everywhere. So another one, white. Of course, it had to descend into bashing people like me and Scott at some point. The white dude next to me walked out of Joker in the last few minutes of the movie. Had me a little shook, not gonna lie. So, guys, if you do go to the Joker, bear in mind that even going for a toilet break or going to grab a snack might leave some people feeling Joker anxious. Oh. Do some jazz hands on the way out so they can see that you've got nothing in them, okay? And point of privilege, toilet.
I guarantee if you were to make the movie Falling Down today, the absolute just pandemonium that would cause, the absolute, you would have to just call it the mass triggering of 2019 if they were to release Falling Down today.
Scott, you couldn't imagine, like, Home Alone had never been made and they made Home Alone nowadays. Oh, dude, it would be like child abuse. It would be like, even that would trigger people somehow. People are this is insanity, Scott. Insanity. And it says I've never walked out of a movie, but with Joker, I came very, very close.
And what about Taxi Driver?
Oh, classic. Classic.
Isn't that another one? I mean, there's so many examples of this theme being represented in cinema, and now all of a sudden, when they do it in the Joker, it's everyone loses their shit. What the hell?
Twitter users wrote, just walked out of hashtag Joker. I haven't been that anxious in a movie theater since Good Time. F-bomb, man. But what can I say? What can I say? What can I say?
This is what happens when there's too much soy in the diet.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Scott. As my mum would say, snowflakes everywhere, But we can go to another superhero, cartoon character, genre-related story. And this is a bit of a funny one. This is like, when did this become a thing? Because guess who's coming to a screen near us real soon? Batwoman. Batwoman. Yes, Batwoman is coming to a screen near you very, very soon on the CW channel. But that's not the news I've got for you. No, that's not it. Guess who Batwoman's nemesis is. Guess who her arch enemy is going to be. You can be forgiven for thinking it might be some toxic man out there. Well, don't worry. She's going to bash them in every absolute episode that ever airs. You know that's a given. But her main enemy, it's not a dude on an island stroking a cat. It's not toxic males like me and Scott. No, they've gone for Rachel Maddow. Yes, or as I prefer to call her, and for the sake of like entertainment purposes, since she's going to be starring in like a superhero kind of show as a bad guy. I mean, bad gal, bad person. Can we call her Mad Cow?
Maybe she is going to play a man stroking a cat.
Gender fluid, maybe? Non-binary?
This is
Isn't
ridiculous.
that no though in the kind of world of identity politics for like somebody to identify as something that they're not, Scott? Isn't that like an almost a taboo in this kind of realm? You know, you can't have like an L playing like an NB. You know. Scott's lost for words. Look at him. You go to the paranormal, he's there, but this it just leaves him almost like. His brain sparks out. It's like, what's going on, Kev? What kind of horrible stuff are you trying to confuse my mind with? Where was the hairy hand that pulled me into this weird world of yours, Kev? At what point did we slip into the shitty universe that you're showing me now?
Yes, we went from, you know what, I would definitely prefer Sasquatch's jungle realm as opposed to the clown world that we live in. You know, this parallel reality has went completely batshit crazy. Pardon the pun, since we're talking about Batwoman.
Or as my friend Jeremy likes to call it, Batwoman. And the theme music, folks, is literally. Remember the theme music, Scott? I'm a woman. I'm a woman. Yeah.
Hey, I feel like a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, but is it any surprise though? Because these talking heads on TV, they're actors anyways, right? They're playing a part. They lie to everybody on a daily basis. You know, in their little character that they play on TV. So is it any stretch of the imagination that Rachel Maddow would decide to dip her toe in the TV acting realm? She's been doing it on a daily basis every day,
and not even well. There's some of my old videos, like over on YouTube. They used to get more hits, like before I had to cull the channel, folks. You know, but I'd get more hits on a video than she would get on one of her like uploads of her shows. Point being, most people on YouTube can beat her nowadays. It's dying media. We've talked about that, but Scott, I've always like the first time.
You know what? Well, that actually may be more of a reason why she's doing it. Maybe MSNBC is such a sinking ship that she's branching out. She's already looking at other options, right? Because mainstream media is dying. You know, the old media is dying. And how much longer are they going to be around? And so a lot of these people are going to have to look at other options, right? In case they decide that they're going to start cutting staff or...
And Scott, the audience is going to watch Batwoman is her potential future audience on MSNBC, right? Because they're drinking the Kool-Aid at this point if they're going to be buying into all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. She'll already have kind of a fan base that'll go and follow her over there, you know. And not only that, she's a recognizable person. You know, people, then it'll be the curiosity factor too, because people were like, what? Rachel Maddow is playing a character in the Batwoman film? Let me go see, or the Batwoman show. Let me go.
Mad Cow, please, Mad Cow.
No, Man Cow.
Well, you see, that brings me to a little joke I was sharing with Scott beforehand, because anyone seen that Man Cow Mueller? I think he's cool. I think he's based in Chicago. Quite mainstreamy, Scott. He does big shows and shit like that, but he talks to Alex Jones. He goes on his show. I would love to get him on KBS, to be honest with you. Probably too big for KBS, but hey, we've got a Hollywood insider that close to coming on. Tell you about it after the show, Scott. Going to be a doozy. Touched base, connections been made, no degrees of separation. Just got to speak to their people. I don't want to give the sex away or anything yet. But anyway, Man Cow Mueller, right? Cool name, brilliant. But every time I hear Man Cow, or I see or hear of Maddow, I always think to myself, you know, wouldn't that be the perfect name for like some detective agency or a law firm? Man Cow and Mad Cow. I mean, that's as cool as Blood and Gore, dude. No? Is it just me? I know, it wasn't one of my better ones, but I still think it'd be cool.
I mean, it sounds good, but I don't think Man Cow would want to team up with Mad Cow.
That's the even better part about it, right? It would be like you see what I'm saying?
Opposite tract kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kindergarten cop situation.
Big time, dude. Big time. Because they hate each other. Yeah. So in case people think we're just making this stuff up, we don't need to. Says in what some are calling the greatest L crossover event of all time, the superhero world's most prominent L word, Batwoman, is about to find a new foe in the most prominent L word of a primetime news. That's right, Rachel Maddow is coming to Batwoman. As the Hollywood Reporter explains, Maddow, MSNBC news host, will be joining the CW superhero drama in the role of Vesper Fairchild. Nice name. In the comics, Vesper Fairchild is a TV and radio news commentator, so she's playing herself, who hooked up with Bruce Wayne. In the show, she'll play a prominent critic of Batwoman. Though there's a catch. Maddow will be appearing in voice only. Damn, you could do that with AI. You know what I'm saying? We consider Vesper Fairchild to be the sardonic voice of Gotham. Showrunner Carol E. Dries told THR, it's an all-girls affair, eh? So in addition to Rachel's nothing like equality, right? In Batwoman, the baddie's played by a woman. Probably the whole crew's played by, they're not played by women. Maybe they are. I'm sorry. It's not, you know that I put women on a pedestal, but it's this like small cult of craziness that goes on in amongst it. You know what I mean, right?
I'm just still here trying to picture Bruce Wayne shacking up with Rachel Maddow. I don't think he has. I don't think that's not his.
This steals the show, Scott. It steals the show because look what Rachel Maddow said about herself. I know no one's gonna believe this is true, but it's true. You mean like nobody believes anything you say on your news show? There's a reason for that. It's not that we just like. It's not that we don't like you, Rachel. It's because everything that you say isn't true.
Yeah, nothing you say is true, Rachel. So, yeah.
Look at that. I mean, come on. Isn't that a lineup? Doesn't that want to make you watch, guys? I mean, come on. Look at that. Whew. Eh? Dang, dude.
She's like, my character is so not me. You mean a TV talking head? Which is literally what you play in the... What the hell, Rachel?
Turns out playing her is one of the most fun things I've ever done. I struggle to think you've ever had anything fun in your life, Rachel. That may actually go a long way to explaining the character that you are today. And yeah, I said character because nothing about these people is real, folks. They are absolutely, like Scott said, at least now she's in the genre where actors are meant to be, acting instead of pretending to be a news.
Polynation in the chat. Harry Potter? ? I think there's a little bit of a resemblance there.
I think so. Talking Harry Potter makes me think of another story I seen recently, Scott. Gandalf. You know Gandalf, Lord of the Rings Gandalf, right? You know it isn't going to be a dude in the Amazon TV series, right? Yeah.
All I can do is shake my head, man.
Lord of the Rings actress calls for a female Gandalf in the new TV series as she claims magical powerhouses are women. So will we have to rename this Lordesses of the Ring? Let's just go all in, dude. I'm like with my pronouns, Scott. This world of many pronouns, it confuses me. So Lordess of the Rings, I don't know.
On today's episode of SJW's Ruin Everything.
Yes, big man. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
So basically, we're just gonna replace Gandalf with a witch, pointy hat.
Scott, he's an evil white guy. You can't be having that. It'll trigger people. It'll trigger people's descent into.
How do we know? What do we know what Gandalf's race is? He lives in a fantasy world with elves and orcs and shit.
He builds stairways in the forest, for goodness sake, Scott.
Yeah, see?
Don't take our Gandalf away. Come on, folks. You've got to leave one remnant of people like me and Scott somewhere, even if it's in bloody The Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth. I don't care. We need to have a foothold somewhere, Scott.
I swear, dude. For real.
For real?
For real. It's shit like this that makes me think back to our conversation about the Georgia Guidestones. It makes me go, maybe, just maybe.
Sometimes there is a case for eugenics, only not the way that we've usually been taught it. If you just want to follow me and Scott to the wood chipper, can't promise everyone's coming home today on our special SJW walk down to the woods. There might not be many coming back from here, folks. But yeah, so there you go. I think that's about us. So here's hoping that Maddow does make the jump to on-screen menace at some point, if only so Ruby Rose and Maddow can flirt, fulfilling the dreams of extremely gay nerds all over the world. Now imagine if it had said, if only so, I don't know, let's think now, the Incredible Hulk and Maddow could flirt. The SJW brigade would be outraged and be screaming, "Me too," by the Hulk. You know what I mean? Pesky man can't flirt with women. And that's like, whoa, you're overstepping the mark there, you absolute predator, you. Just saying.
I don't know what to say, man. I really don't. At this point, it's so ridiculous. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and propose my new. I'm gonna propose my. I probably should submit this to the White House.
Make this your election slogan, dude. Choose it well. This is what you're gonna run a campaign on here, right?
No, I'm going to propose my new trade deal with China. I think this is going to be a win-win situation. They can take all of our SJWs, all of the leftists, all of the commies, and we can take all of the protesters that are fighting for liberty in Hong Kong. It's a win-win.
There you
Fair
go.
trade, my
Fair
friend.
trade, dude. Fair trade, eh?
Let's do that.
Think of
I think
that, what you've seen going on over there, and then take like thousands of people that'll be like jumping for joy because Rachel Maddow's like in Batwoman, and put these SJWs into the heart of like a really jamming, active protest. Ain't gonna take the authorities long to mop up. It's gonna get messy. It's gonna be real messy. There ain't enough scoops to go around to pick these people up. It's a different mentality. It's a different mindset, Scott. The youth over here and the youth over there. Britain's the same as well. Don't get me wrong. You know, I tell you.
You know, the people protesting in Hong Kong, they're like actually protesting for liberty and freedom, right? And it's weird. It's so weird to see that in America we have people protesting for socialism and communism and oppression, essentially. You know, they want the Chinese model, and then you have people over there in Hong Kong, you know, holding up signs saying, you know, we need the Second Amendment. You know, that they're actually fighting back against this, and it's just so weird. Once again, clown world, man. We're just in this.
I didn't have my clown horn ready. I didn't have it. I didn't think it would be appropriate for going into the woods with. But then when I realised we were passing these two, just on the outlet, we can see the horizon. The clearing at the end of the woods was just about there, Scott, and then this jumped out on us. And
that's not to say that America is the most free country in the world either, because... Oh, dude, definitely. I was looking at a thing today, right? It's about the Department of Homeland Security. They've got a new database that can, like, identify people when you just speak. And I was saying, well, there you go then. Thanks, Alexa. You know? Yeah, I mean, it's just tyranny with another, you know, with different window dressing, right? You know, but more with the velvet glove, more behind the curtain. Yeah, but still, I mean, just to see the mentality of the people over there in Hong Kong, you know, with the idea of freedom. Oh, and Star Dreamer's got it right. We're in the upside down. Star Dreamer, see if we're not. Let's find a portal to the upside down, because the upside down even seems better at this point, right? Talking of the upside down, I believe there's a new trailer out for the new season of Stranger Things. Season 4. Yeah. I haven't watched it. I don't think Netflix would react too kindly to us playing that, unfortunately. I remember us getting a strike the last time we played a trailer for that on one of the Freaky Fridays, man. But Scott, yeah, any last thoughts before we take to the stairways, my friend? We take to the stairways for one last time, and unlike the ones that we were talking about earlier, we just disappear into like a puff of smoke at the top of them, dude, and we're gone. Since we're discussing movies and stuff, new Godzilla movie. Got it. Highly recommend. Hypothetically, got it downloaded. Allegedly. Yeah, allegedly, you know. Is it good? Yeah, very good. Good woo in there. A little bit of a porous earth / inner earth woo. Nice. Ancient civilization woo. You know, and yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I recommend it. And you know, if you're a fan of the Godzilla movies, I think they did it pretty good justice. They represented Godzilla in a pretty good way, and the other monsters and stuff. So now, does anyone remember a cartoon? Because Anne says she can't remember it. She says I've made this up, right? But it's a cartoon with Godzilla and Godzuki. Does anyone remember Godzuki? Yes, I remember it. It had the intro music was like Godzilla, and Godzuki. Yeah, see, I remember. Yes, I sung that to Anne, and she looked at me as if I was bloody Godzilla. She's like, "You're mad. You've lost the plot. There was never a Godzuki." I'm like, but it was like Scrappy Doo to like Scooby Doo. It was like the wee one. Yes. I remember the cartoon, and there was even a Godzilla movie where Godzuki was in it. So, well, I'm watching something just now. It's actually been out a few years, Scott, or season 1 has, and it's called Mr. Mercedes.
and it's based on a trilogy of Stephen King novels. Very, very, very good. You know, Norman Bates, like Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock, like scary stuff, psychologically pretty disturbed young dude. Well, this dude, I tell you, Norman's got a rival now, Scott, that this guy is disturbing. Don't know the name of the actor who plays Mr. Mercedes, but dang, dude, is good if you're looking to kill some time. And yeah, myself and Scott, we openly admit that we spend downtime watching the evil television.
Yes. Hey, Artistic Creations in the chat. He does not, or they do not remember Godzuki.
Oh my word! Have we hit on one, Scott?
Did we hit a Mandela? Possibly.
Mandela, and Godzuki.
Anyways, I also brought up Godzilla because we were talking about Stranger Things, right? And the girl that plays 11 in Stranger
She's in
Things.
it, yes. She's the star, isn't she?
Yeah, she's the star in the new Godzilla. So
Stranger Things 4 preview. We'll leave the sound down. We'll talk about it. Nice intro, same as the usual intro, Scott. Looking promising. We've got to give it commentary. We've got to alter this content to make it our own. Godzilla and the Stranger Things. Number 4. It's not going to show us anything here, folks. Really cool. Not getting a copyright strike for a damn logo on my screen.
I think the copyright usually is probably due to the audio because that intro music is.
Ooh, yeah, big time.
So
the Duffer Brothers, man, pretty cool. She's a really good actress, though, that girl. I must admit, really good actress. So, folks,
we got more people. Godzuki is a big question mark in there. Oh boy, Kev.
Right, hang on.
Oh boy.
Godzuki. There he is. There we Godzuki.
There he is in the movie, and there he is
he's
in the
real.
cartoon.
Godzuki lives. Look, there he is.
Yeah. See, I remember. I am a Godzilla connoisseur. People, I've seen pretty much every
Scott,
Godzilla
wasn't this
movie.
like? Don't they say this is like? It was made in like the nuclear threat kind of thing. Like it was kind of
It was kind of Japan. It was their way of kind of talking about the dangers of nuclear weapons and stuff like that, you know, because it wasn't too long after World War II, right? I think the first Godzilla movie was like in the 50s, I believe.
Idiots, look at him, man. Looking all Godzuki in that. Thank you, big man, because I was getting worried there.
No, I remember Godzuki, dude. We're old enough. We remember Godzuki. So yeah, it kind of was their kind of way of bringing the whole nuclear thing to light, because they said it the nuclear, you know, that Godzilla was created by nuclear testing or whatever, and so yeah.
I'm just smiling though. I'm thinking, thank goodness we found Godzuki online, or else me and Scott were going to have to go away for a serious conversation. That would have been a big one.
If you would have typed that in and nothing came up, I would have been like, oh no.
I would have been bad, Scott. I actually remember that episode, dude. I remember that. That's like seared on my mind, man.
Do you think we would get a copyright strike if we were to look up the intro on YouTube for Godzuki?
Even if we do, I can cut it out afterwards. I can use the editor and cut it out. Because they've changed the copyright when it comes to music and things now. They don't take the full, like usually they take the full video. But we're not going to get ads on this anyway, folks. Let's be serious after some of the stuff we were playing earlier. Come on. And oh yeah, I'd pulled this up. I'll come back to that before we go.
Well, it would be. I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't do the theme.
Cartoon.
I would do the cartoon.
Yeah. There we go.
I would do like the yeah. Yeah, there it is. That should.
Up from the depths, 30 stories high, breathing fire, his head in the sky. Godzilla, 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 and Godzuki.
Boom! Godzuki! Classic.
Yeah. Absolute classic.
I'm back there now. I'm back there watching it right now. To be that age again. But with the information we've amassed to date. Oh, imagine how dangerous you'd be, Scott, going back to being just a little guy, like full of the woo, full of the ways that the world work, you know? Little 3-year-old. How creepy would it be having a 3-year-old telling you how the world works? Oh, that would be creepy. But before we go talking of creepy, you know me. I like to tell people about other YouTube channels, things like that. I'm going to refresh this page because we usually jump to our good friend Frostmare. And Frostmare, King Frostmare, he's doing a gaming stream tonight. And what I've done is, and what you can do is just type in paranormal in your search. And again, you're thinking, Kev, we're not stupid, but maybe some people don't know. And then you go to the filter and click for live content. And you'll find everything that's on live right now. So you'll be able to take your pick if you want to get into something on there. We've got Sunday night spirit messages from MLV and me, 61, watching that.
On that reservation. Maybe it wasn't supposed to go with you.
JP Smart in the chat says that he has been Mandela.
Oh, Rindu, that's crazy too. See, I guess, we all have things that bother us.
Let's see if she acknowledges the Baker notes. We'll give her 30 seconds. If not,
I think if
our egos are going to be severely bruised.
If I could just tune everything else out and just talk one-on-one to the spirit, it wouldn't bother me. I think it would be a little easier. But when you hear what sounds like hundreds of them trying to talk and you can't make it out, it just messes with me.
Hey man, channeling
messes with me.
Who knows? Some can, some
oh
can't.
My god, what happened?
She's got woo happening in her
Tyler
house. So yeah, there's one you could go and check out. Let's see. Creepy McPasta, always good. Always good. Shifty Sunday. Not sure what could be happening in there. Halloween Radio. Live Animal Cam. Yeah, there's a lot in there. Whether there's something that will tickle your fancy or not. Who else have we got here? Recognize any of these, Scott? It's the same one again.
Brown.
It's readings. Paranormal investigations.
Book list on our website that you can go. It's nothing but paranormal books, nonfiction paranormal books. You guys go check that out. If let me see if I can just pick one out of the fray there. There's a really good demonology book by Ed Warren.
That's something your co-host on a Sunday is really good at, Scotty. Your co-host. You're the co-host for Christopher Everard. I mean, demonology, all that stuff, man. That's some pretty decent woo right there.
Yeah, I think one day we might have to get Chris on just to discuss
anything he wants. Anything he wants, dude.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to steer him away from certain subjects, but
some are not very algorithm friendly.
Some are not algorithm friendly, so we'll have to rein him in. But Everard is one of those guys that he can go anywhere. He can go anywhere you want to go, any topic, anything. So, yeah, we'd have to get him on for some paranormal and some.
Have you heard about this, Scott?
What is iconic? Iconic's something different. That's all it is. It's something that's never really been done before. A truly independent platform, subscribed to and funded and supported entirely by you.
So yeah, David Icke, and that's his son Jamie there. That's who I was obviously working with to put the Icke show together. Sounds like they're starting a brand new platform, dude. I don't know. Content creators and things. I mean, don't worry, folks. I'm here on YouTube. I ain't going anywhere. I'm on TFR and things. I'm not saying that. But, you know, for people out there.
I like seeing people try to start new platforms. It's just so hard. It's just so hard for any kind of platform to try and compete with.
And Scott, you're already starting with a target on your back. No offense to the big man. But, like, as soon as they see his name, you know, they're going to try and close that down any way they can, dude.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm glad that he's trying to start something new, you know, and whatever. It's just, it is super hard for any of these to gain any traction. But that being said, anytime an alternative pops up, you should support it and at least give it a try, and because you never know, you never know, there could be that one that has that magic to it, that something that will get people to jump over. But it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard for alternative platforms to get people to jump from YouTube and Facebooks and Twitter, you know, Facebook and Twitter, you know, because they have the lockdown on all of it. Mm-hmm. You just, if you're trying to get exposure, those are the only platforms where you're gonna find that exposure, and everything else is just kind of out on the fringes, and you're never going to get that. The only video, I would say, the only place that in my mind has kind of really anchored in, and I see some longevity, is like BitChute.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't really know if there's like money to be made on BitChute for content creators. You know, I noticed that they do kind of have a thing where you could subscribe to like a platinum kind of package or something on BitChute. So maybe they do offer something for content creators. But if you're just trying to get information out there, and I mean, let's be honest, you know, making money is nice and all, but you know, when we kind of got into this, we're not doing this to make money. You know what I mean? Especially when it came to waking people up to a lot of the things that, you know, it's not a thing that you really anticipate making money on.
No,
so
Scott, if somebody had said to me when I've made my first YouTube video, by the way, Kev, further down the line, this is going to be like your career, and I mean, think about that. A career on a website that just like a video sharing website, but so many, it has ended up that way, right?
Yeah, you know, so you know, there are alternatives out there, but you can't go into them with a monetary gain in mind. You know, just it's just a platform. It's a platform for you to get information out, and that's kind of the most important part. So, yeah, I'm all for supporting other platforms, competition. I'm just a good old fashioned capitalist.
Good man. Of course,
free market.
Couldn't bring up Icke without, you know, self-indulging in some KBS on Icke. You know, not very often you get somebody like the big man on the show. There I am. Look at him all. Look, all freshly shaved. You know, like yes, a freshly shaved Sasquatch. I've got my wee shirt on, and You know, my wee light in the corner, looking all the thing. You know, David's got his TV. Me, the little wannabe there. But somebody in the chat room, and I think it was Stimulate. You told me I should get somebody called Earthquake Kelly on the show. The name right away, it's, I don't know. It's making me want to take a look. Earthquake Kelly. Okay. Not what I expected whatsoever. Why do I... So what's his shtick then?
I don't know.
I love everybody. I like that message. I like that. Being uplifted, a life altered.
Go back one. There was like a list of videos, and I saw something about demonology, and like if you hit back on the, yeah.
All right.
Demonology, demons.
Don't strike me, Earthquake Kelly. I'm trying to do you a turn here, dude. I'm going to give people a link to your channel and that, man.
Earthquake Kelly.
Well-known Christian pastor has experienced Satan, God, and demons firsthand, okay?
Torment. There's a lot of you out there have been tormented at night. I get a lot of calls from all over the world. People who are tormented. They're tormented. Their
Earthquake Kelly needs a new mic.
Their children are tormented. Businessmen are tormented. Politicians are tormented. All kinds of people on this planet are tormented, especially at night. We're going to deal with these things to show people.
Is he like some kind of time traveling pastor? He looks like he took this with, like, he's like turned up in our time, or he uploaded it like before the internet began. Like he uploaded this in 1980, Scott.
Yeah, Earthquake Kelly, I love you, brother, but you need to kind of step up that production value just a little bit.
I like what he's got going on here.
It does look like he's maybe if maybe after the show I'll have to check out his video. Maybe he's this might tie into shadow people and all of that stuff.
Hang on a minute now. Wait a minute.
You can't see these things with his natural eye.
Hey, he's actually got a shtick. That is his shtick. I had to, dude. I had to.
The brilliant art that is being represented on the whiteboard there is interesting, you know.
I don't think it would be fair to leave the weekend. Will we give the last word? Will we? To Rudolph the Tall White. Shall we, Scott?
There's no updates. We don't have any new updates from Rudolph except for our previous.
Let's see. I want to make sure that we get one where he's channeling, you know? What are you seeing, Scott?
Go back up. Psychedelic mushroom shortage is leading to
Armageddon. Is he going to do his shtick in that?
Oh, we've got Rudolph in all his glory.
This once more is Rudolph of Germany, the tall white alien.
No shit, folks. No shit. The dude's an alien, man. He speaks alien. He lives alien. He's alien.
Taking on a human form so you can relate better.
Not the one I would have chosen, Scott. To be honest, when I was going into the holodeck and I was picking out a skin suit for myself, possibly might have taken something a little different.
I mean, if he was really, wanting to blend in with the human race, and he's Rudolph, you're not hitting the mark there, buddy. You kind of stand out in the crowd, just a little bit.
To what I have to say. This is the whole reason I use a form which...
If you're trying to look inconspicuous, dude, I don't know about the cultural ambassador you've got up there on, like, Palladian place that you come from or wherever. they're a bit, I don't know.
Comes close in its appearance to an ordinary man. Yes, it has been a while since I was speaking to you. Yes, I have been away and visited our home base in or under better Antarctica.
See?
Whoa!
Oh, it gets more interesting. It gets the plot thickens. The plot thickens. Now, before we get back to his base, okay? Now, don't worry, folks. It's going to remember where that is. But I want people who haven't seen him, because I'm gathering from the chat room. There's a few people who haven't met Rudolph before. I want us to just watch the start of this one first, because in this we see how Rudolph communicates with the home base, and I think that's worth doing.
Greetings, my human friends. This again is Rudolph of Germany, the tall white alien.
And listen, I'm not mocking the dude. I'm not making fun of him. I provide, you decide. And I'll give you a link to his channel and things. Listen, wouldn't that be the ultimate kind of way to do it if you're coming here disguised as an alien? People like Kev just dismissing it off the bat. And in the end of the day, I mean, wait, I'll let you decide for yourself, folks.
I will use this opportunity before I speak to you to give a short message to my fellow tall white aliens who are on this planet.
Get ready.
And need to be advised about a very important matter.
Now, get ready, because if somebody on the sofa behind you, maybe a loved one, maybe a partner, maybe your wife's away making coffee, or your husband's grabbing you some snack right now, if they start freaking out in a moment, you know.
Please have a little bit of patience.
They live amongst us, Scott.
With you in a moment.
So that's Rudolph communicating. I think it's important that we grasp it. I just think it adds a level of credibility to the claims he's making when we see him actually like talking to his other fellow aliens like that, Scott. You know?
Yeah.
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 Greetings, my human friends. It's been a while since I was speaking to you. Yes, I have been away and visited our home base in or under better Antarctica.
See, that's his problem. Everyone knows, well, every human knows that you don't find mushrooms at the South Pole, you absolute. See?
I was called over there to take a break and take a rest from my duties as an ambassador on planet Earth.
Second ambassador I've had on the show. Second ambassador, Scott.
See, he's an ambassador, Kev. He's an ambassador, and look, okay, so
we do ambassadors, Scott, right?
He's an ambassador, and the embassy is located under in Antarctica. So the psychedelic mushrooms, I believe, exist on the home world, Kev. Not at the embassy. I don't think.
I think now that he's an ambassador, he gets a new soundtrack, because despite the disguise, he might just be a white hat.
Oh!
I always like to go back, which I call my second home, since my first home, my home planet, is not available to me anymore.
He's been banished from his planet? What kind of shit do you have to get up to be like banished from a planet? Don't welcome you, dude. You better not have some like bad juju going on, man. He's got some death ray shit behind those glasses or something, Scott. He didn't get kicked off of no planet for nothing.
Maybe he got kicked off. Or maybe the reason that there's a shortage of psychedelic mushrooms on the homeworld is the reason why he was banished. They're like, Rudolph, Rudolph,
you just had one mushroom too many, son. You're expelled.
There are certain reasons for it. I cannot return home. And we had a sadly terrible catastrophe happening. Our plant life, our mushrooms, our psychedelic mushroom plant life on my home planet has been destroyed to almost 90%.
He ate them all.
The gases
Rudolph,
which surround
Rudolph, you're a genocidal maniac. He's like devoured billions and billions of mushrooms. Rudolph done the DMT. Hitler done the DMT.
yeah, Rudolph wiped out 90% of the mushrooms on his planet. That's why he was banished. Man.
Somebody in the chat room says he likes to have happy fun time with traffic cones.
around our home planet have been mutated in a way so that our psychedelic mushrooms did not get any nourishment anymore. A meteor has been hitting, and through that, gases of foreign orange.
It has been hitting, Rudolph. A meteor has been hitting, so it is currently in the process of slowly slamming into the. It's not quite done hitting. It has been hitting.
Gravity's different there, Scott.
Origin
I guess so.
have been destroying most of what we need to build up worlds. Build up worlds through psychedelic influence, which also completely create that what you have on planet Earth right now.
Well, there you go, folks. Like I say, Rudolph, the tall white alien. Check him out. Show him some love. Don't be nasty in the comments, folks. We don't roll like that here. We don't do trolling.
Don't be mean to Rudolph. Don't be mean to Rudolph.
Not at all. That's not the intent of something like this. Yeah, we like to have a laugh. We like to have a joke. I'm sure people will be playing segments of our stream having a laugh and a joke at us. That's okay. That's what being on YouTube's all about, or it should be about, okay? So, yeah, Rudolph. Scott, have we got time for 1 2-minute video before we go? It's the one I showed you before we came on air, and I think we've already triggered several algorithms. I'm not even going to ask for a review when it comes to ads. You know the video I mean. Remember the one we watched with one of our least favourite crazy characters on YouTube? And he gets his ass handed to him?
I don't know.
Is it too dodgy? It is, isn't it?
Nah, let's not go there.
Folks, go and check out Glow2's channel. There's a really good clip of a character that we've shown on here before. He's one of these crazy fools that pushes letters in the alphabet. He's rounding up bad people all around the world, and he's got Navy intel sources that run to YouTube to tell him things. A woman absolutely destroys him in 2 minutes of video. There's more truth comes out this chick than this guy's got on his whole channel. So check out Glow 2 for everything to do with that. And Scott, that's us, man. We're like, that was a long one, dude. That's 2 hours. 2.5 hours.
Didn't seem like it, dude. Time flies when you're having fun.
Now I can see why streams can go on for days, dude. Big time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, once once you have a lot of content to work with, it's just
one of our viewers, one of our members, is going ghost hunting very soon at like a famous location in the UK. He's going to be streaming it on his channel. It's Jason. You sometimes see Jason in here, Jason Merritt, I think it is. And yeah, hopefully he'll let us like show a bit of that. We'll be able to drive some people over to his channel because he's wanting to start the paranormal investigations. And like I said to him, that's a really good like genre to get into. People love that. Yeah, Kristen, I know, so much for 90 minutes. See, from now on, folks, you blame Joe when we stick to the 90 minutes, right? We can just blame Joe for everything since he's not here. But before I go, let me remind you, you can join the channel if you want to, and only if you want to, and only if you can afford to. And we've got 3, that's not 1, not 2, but 3 pricing options. You can go for the very special offer, £1.99 per month. You can go for the regular £4.99 a month, or you can be a premium member at £8.99 a month. I can't promise that the more you go up the ranges, you're going to get anything different than anyone else. But next week, we'll be having our first members only, not just chat, but members only Sunday stream. Literally the VIP lounge. The last 2 weeks, Scott, we've only made it member only chat. So like non-members can still view. But now we're going to go into the deeper recesses. Come into the woods with me to the VIP lounge where the KBSers can hang out, Scott.
Yeah. I think for those who who decide to hit that premium membership, you got to give them just a little extra something, just
absolutely.
A little bit. Yeah,
absolutely. So there you have it, folks. You can support the channel that way. Obviously, there's PayPal, there's super chats for the next time we're on. So many ways to do it, but you know what?
And if not, don't worry about it.
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
It's going to be
just being here, and just as an effective a way, and equally appreciated, is just to like and share, and come back and leave a comment in the comment section. You might think, well, what's the point in that? Well, even just commenting, the algorithm realizes that there's activity on it, and it helps. It goes a long way to helping that video get out there.
Share the stream out. Tell your friends or whatever. There's a lot of ways you can support us.
Stimulate £1.99 for just the tip. Indeed, sir. Indeed. Touche to you. Touche. What a way to take us out, Scott. So I've had a blast. What about you, Scotty boy? You had a blast?
Yes.
Was it as good for you as it was for me, Scott?
Yeah, I'm gonna need a cigarette after this.
Oh, absolutely, dude. In fact, I'm already smoking.
Yeah.
And look,
just kidding, people. I don't smoke.
No hairy hands. No hairy hands. None. I tell you what, though, folks. The next time you watch a Democratic Social Party convention, instead of laughing at the jazz hands, why not slow down that video, get the magnifying glass out, and see if there's any hairy hands just randomly in amongst them, like disembodied hands. Like a bit of that going on. And they might be hairy. What do you think? Look at my eyeballs. It's almost as if I must be really tired, Scott. I'm seeing about 3 versions of Streamlabs, dude.
I wonder why, Kev. I wonder why.
Must be that coffee I'm drinking, right? Folks, we've had a blast. I love each and every one of you. Keep the minds open, but don't be letting the brain turn to that nasty black goo. Me and Scott don't want to be mopping that up all night. And remember, if you do see a stairway in the woods, remember everything myself and Scott have told you. Yeah, there's archaeological excuses for it all, but not all of them.